Ever since it came to the early days of Marvel Studios, they've been doing one thing and one thing in particular that's paid off very well. Getting smaller time directors and even indie directors to become somebody that spearheads an entire franchise going forward. So now Marvel Studios reveals why exactly that's their choice and why they're going to keep doing that pretty much forever. So if we go back and look at the early days of the MCU, The Incredible Hulk was a joint partnership and agreement between Universal and Marvel Studios to let Louis Leterrier direct that one. At the same time, you had Jon Favreau directing Iron Man. Now make no mistake, people will say, well, Jon Favreau's big, The Mandalorian and The Lion King, he's huge, why is he an indie director? Well, at the time that he was in discussions to start directing Iron Man, he wasn't. That's the thing. The Russo brothers, TV directors at best that nobody cared about and said would ruin Captain America as a franchise. The biggest director they had under their belt was Joss Whedon agreeing to do the Avengers. But everybody else, John Watts for Spider-Man, Taika for Thor, it's more on the smaller end of not your big names like your Steven Spielberg or your Guillermo del Toro, who, funny enough, was working on a Hulk series for them, but that was way back when. But you get what I'm saying, and this has specifically been brought up over the course of the last few months because of Chloe Zhao, her winning Oscars and her working on The Eternals. And what they said is if you look at these directors that are passionate, that are up and coming, that don't exactly have the opportunity to make something that is this level, that they get excited and they put all their best work in front of them. They want to make sure that this is the thing that gets them noticed because it will have the most eyes on the projects. And then it also allows them to have some of their own voice because they haven't really been in the Hollywood machine, if you will. They haven't seen how the gears turn. They haven't seen the formula. And it allows Marvel Studios to go, hey, work within these parameters, but also do your own thing. And this goes back to another small-time director who's since exploded in popularity and now everybody wants him, and that's James Gunn. They hired him and said, well, what do you want to do with Guardians? And they gave him parameters, hit these beats, establish these things, but make a James Gunn movie. And he did. And we start to see that with every other project that brings on new directors. So more or less, they're doing this and they're hiring a lot of indie directors because they're passionate and they realize that through them, they can give them the opportunity to become part of the Marvel family while also making sure that their name gets out there while they stay within a reasonable parameter and don't try to call the shots because they're a big-time director or somebody with a name, aka Edgar Wright. He tried to go over Disney and Marvel Studios to make his own Ant-Man where it didn't conform to the ideas that they wanted. They said, no, you're not listening to us, so we can't work with you.